It should pop up here. Says we are live. Hello, Gun Nation. How's everyone doing this evening? Hopefully y'all can hear us. 17 and KS will not be joining us tonight, but we've got Mike from Tactical Considerations, and he has been gracious enough to join us with his presence. And we're going to be answering some questions and talking about some good stuff. And if y'all have any questions, let us know over there in the chat. Throw it out there, and we will try to go over it. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm glad one of the backup dancers made it back on the show.
Yeah, you're always welcome on here, man. Yeah, we always
I know, man. You see, does my nose look all burned?
Yeah. Well, it didn't look as bad as you think it did.
Fishing, so you got like that face mask on and just the glasses, because in Arizona it was, so I'm just burnt on my nose only.
Yeah, I've had the raccoon look before with my Oakley.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your face looks fried.
Generally in summer when I'm going like a lot, I'll get the I look like a bad Trump. I got the line all the way from here where it's white, and then it's white, and then it's just dark from here up.
Yeah. Yeah, I look like you've been looking over something.
Yeah,
KS is busy this evening, and 17 is also, so they will be out this evening. So us two are going to entertain y'all, and we've got some good topics and stuff like that. But Tactical Considerations had a really good one. He asked about, or was saying that, kind of talking about shit you need, shit you don't need, for the new gun owners. I'd love to hear y'all's input also. But what do you think on that? Like, stuff that you absolutely need and stuff maybe you don't.
Yeah. So for me, like, first of all, if any new gun owners out there, anybody that's joined the Second Amendment, thank you. I appreciate it. For all the rest of you guys that are crapping on new gun owners because they don't know, stop. Help these people out. There are advocates now. I'm getting, like I said earlier, I'm getting hammered with like text messages or like text emails, IMs, from new gun owners that are like, hey, I saw your video on this. What do I need? It's like, you obviously need your firearm or whatever you want, right? But the first thing I'm going to tell you is attend a CCW or some form of legal briefing class, and then really dive into and read the laws in your state, because every state has a different law.
Yeah.
Different states have different things. You need to understand that, because should you ever have to use it, you need to make sure you're doing it right. And then everybody always wants to talk gear and all that stuff. So for me, you need your gun, you need practice ammo, self-defense ammo, and a good quality holster right off the bat. Don't buy some cheap nylon garbage. If you get the good ammo for your self-defense, practice ammo, a solid holster, the next step for you is going to be a legal class, a CCW class, and then some hands-on shooting classes. And there's just a ton of options out there for that. Spend the money. There are some that can be had for an amazing value out there. For my California people, Mike Levy at Knockout Lights, that dude offers an amazing class for like $250. I mean, a solid days class for beginners, intermediates, red dot stuff. 250 bones, man. I mean, you can't get that anywhere, especially for a dude. He teaches a lot of cool people, and he's got a lot of really good knowledge to share. So he's a solid guy. Arizona's got a ton of good people too. We've got Haley out here. There's a Guardian Training Consulting. East Coast, you got Kenlick Pervectus Group. You've got the West, you got Cogworks, you've got Bear Solutions. You got all these really cool companies, man. So some get more expensive, but get a solid baseline, because learning guns, you're learning a new language now, and you learn a new word. It's just like when you're a kid, you learn a new word every day. It's the same thing.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I've got, a bunch of people that ask me stuff since they're new gun owners. And then also I've got a lot of people that are like new to CZs, and they ask me a bunch of questions. But I would say definitely a really good holster, Harris holsters. There's other great brands out there too. And a really good gun belt. A lot of people don't, they just think, oh, I'll just clip it on the side of my pants, or, wear this little cheesy dress belt.
Cut a cowboy boot off.
Yeah, where it won't support the weight. So you definitely want a good, stiff belt.
Yeah.
And depending on your pistol weight, maybe a stiffer belt or whatever you think. But I think a true gun belt, not a belt and then make it hold your gun, is the way to go. And yes, as far as, Uncle Mike's and things like that, man, those are like holsters. I mean, you put your gun in, and if you want to set it in your safe, they might be good for that. But other than that, I wouldn't trust them for anything. They have no retention. We've talked about them before, but yeah, I wouldn't trust that. Good ammo. and you want to make sure that your gun is going to run different types of ammo, whether it be FMJs, full metal jackets, or excuse me, FMJs or defensive loads, and different brands of defensive loads. You want to make sure it doesn't, choke on one particular brand and not another. Your gun, if it's worth a grain of salt, it should run pretty much anything. So if I have a gun and it's real finicky on stuff, it might not be my gun very long. So that's the way I look at it. But also, learn the 4 basic, rules. I mean, they're very simple. They're all over the place. And if you can't afford like $250 training, go to your local range. They usually have guys there that are much cheaper, and they can at least get you the basics. And of course, I always recommend, your LTC or your CHL, so you can carry your gun legally. But if it's only for home protection, take that brand new gun and freaking shoot it. Make sure it works, clean it, lube it, learn the basics of your own gun and your own gun maintenance. Don't just throw it in a drawer loaded and say, oh, it's good to go. And I've had friends that bought a gun and bought 50 rounds of ammo. I'm like, run,
It's funny. Like 2 things on that is Arizona went constitutional carry something like 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but CCW classes went up. Like more people started going, which is, it's awesome. I mean, because most of the CCW stuff out here, it's just legals. It's just laws.
Right.
It's not even a range shoot anymore. In fact, you can do it online, but it briefs you on the legalities of it. And the ammo thing, I have people I know calling me saying, hey, can you spare some ammo? And I'm like, did you not know this time was coming again? Yeah. And I keep telling people, I'm all, if you don't have a minimum of 1,000 rounds of practice ammo laying around, because how many dry spells have we had for 3, 4, 5 months where you can't get anything but high-end defensive ammo or something, so guys are hurting. I mean, try to have that around. I mean, I was buying cases of S&B 9 practice ammo, like a 119 or even a 124, and I want to say Brownells was having it for like just over $200, man.
Yeah. I buy
goes
it
a long way.
Yeah, I buy it by the case if at all possible, because you never know when something's going to happen like this. And I've said it numerous times since all this happened. I've had so many people reach out to me, hey man, I need some ammo, I need this, and I don't give it ammo, but I mean I've hooked them up with some really good links, and I'm like, here you go, man, and they're like, oh wow, that's a great price right now, and I'm like, yeah, you just got to kind of go to your honey holes where you've been getting your stash, and a lot of them aren't raising. Some are ripping your heads off, and some are being decent about it. So,
well, there's a difference between shooting and practice. Yeah. So a lot of people just go to the range and they masturbatory shoot, just shooting ammo. When you go to the range, and I kind of, when I had unlimited amounts of ammo that used to get thrown at me for years, it was great too, because we would just go out there and blast thousands of rounds a day. That's not possible anymore. If you go to the round, and one of my old sergeants used to tell me this, he says, if you can't accomplish what you need to in 200 rounds or less out on the range, he's all, you got a problem.
Yeah.
So pick some drills, pick some things you need to work on, self-diagnose, and try to get it done in like 50, 100 rounds.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to a really cool class. I mean, I've seen guys go to the range and just burn ammo for the sake of burning ammo. It's like, that's not doing anything. Work on drills, do what you need to do to learn and grow.
Exactly. Yeah, I always say practice with a purpose. There's times where I'll go out and just have fun if I'm comparing one gun to another gun as far as distance or something. But when I go to practice, and a lot of those aren't even filmed, I don't want to worry about the camera. I want to focus on what I'm there to do, and I practice with a purpose. So drawing from the holster, doing things like that. In some ranges you can't draw from a holster, but if you can, it's always a good thing. And even, it doesn't cost you a dime to dry fire, and to, dry fire at home, draw from the holster at home. Just make sure your ammo is not anywhere around, and your gun is unloaded, and you are safe and pointed in a safe direction, even though it's not unloaded. And dry fire, man. I mean, there's, I use the Mantis X a lot. I use the dry fire mag. I play around with all that stuff because it really does work. And I've been using those things for years, and I really like them. So, and one little thing that we've talked about this before, if you're going to dry fire and you don't want to rack it every single time, just pull the slide back a little bit, fold a little piece of notebook paper and stick it right there in your chamber. And that'll allow you to have a free trigger. And, at least you can kind of feel it. You know, it doesn't click like it should, but you know, I would definitely do this. Yeah, here's a question. Let's see here. All right, Big Johnson Guns and Gear. Tactical considerations. T-Rex has paper targets with drills on them that help warm up, but also get you proficient with your time at the range. Yes, Art, there actually is not just T-Rex. There's, you know, there's tons of them. Like you can go, I was just doing it the other night.
Tier 1 concealment, Bear Solutions, the Bear Standard, the warm-up drill. They're all out there. They're all good. I mean,
yeah, and you can even do the dot torture test. You know, you can do it with irons or with dots, and you can go on Lucky Gunner, and he actually has them on there for free. He has a drill for dot drills, and he has a DA target, which is double action, single action, and then a striker fire one, and you can get them for free. Matter of fact, I just loaded them on my phone. I've had them on there for a little while on a PDF, so I can print them anytime I want. And
I do the same thing. They're on my Google Drive, and I have a big notebook, and I keep probably 20 to 30 copies of the Bear Standard, Dot Torture, 777s. There's a ton of good drills out there, and it's free. They're putting this stuff out there for free. All it costs you is printer paper, you know, it's some range time.
Exactly. And even at home, you can actually just tape it and stick it on the wall, and you can dry fire that. I mean, you can, especially if you're with the dot, you can just dry fire it, and it really does help. So, you know, and you can do on theirs, on a true dot torture, it's 50. You'll only shoot 50 rounds.
Yep.
I think you draw like 60 something times. You'll see your sight picture like 80 something times or 84 times. I mean, it really does work. So
and you can do, this is a lot of things people just dry fire. Like I have a B8 right over here to my left, your right. So a lot of people don't understand too is you can take that B8, put it here, put it there, put it there, and you can actually practice your transition drills too in a room that's no bigger than a basic bedroom. You just stand in one side or the other, and you can transition from one to the next.
Yeah, and I even use these. You know, the little Post-it notes.
Post-it notes.
And the little pink one is a no shoot. You know, it's kind of like a red don't shoot. And I use these and just stick them on the wall too. And I've got some of those Ben Stoker. You know, the little like silhouettes and stuff.
The little reduced QIT things.
Yeah, and I've stuck those around, and light switches work good. I mean, there's really no excuse. Just point it in a safe direction, and you can go out and have a heyday. And you will, if you have the proper grip, proper stance, your ass will get tired from dry firing. I mean, my arms have been like so freaking tense because you're getting the correct grip and draw, and it will wear you out after a while. So
I start sweating when I'm practicing my reloads in my house.
Yeah.
I'll go to my bedroom and I'll stand right at the edge of the bed. That way all the mags are just dropping on the mattress. So I don't have to bend over every time.
Yeah.
And I will do mag exchanges. And I have little cars in there that I can point at and do this. But I literally, I'm like sweating by the time I'm done.
Yeah.
You spend 30 minutes, man. That's good practice. 30 minutes.
And you haven't even spent a dime. You know, that's the cool thing about it is, you know, if you just do it. And I'll be honest, I used to do it a lot more than I do it now, and I need to get back in the habit of doing it more. But now when I go to the range with rifle or even pistol, it's no more than 100 rounds at a time. And with 308, man, you start going through, 50 to 75 to 100 rounds. That stuff's not cheap. And so, yeah, one day I went and had a stupid heyday, and I think I shot 200 rounds. So, and it's freaking loud too. So,
I just blasted a ton of ammo the past 2 weeks because I've been testing all those new guns, man. I went through a lot of ammo.
Fina has a question for you. Let's see here if it'll click. Come on. All right. What is the best Glock trigger with stock parts?
So Overwatch Precision has been my favorite trigger for a very long time. One, because it's very, very good balance between giving you all of the performance, but still being very conservative. So for those of you that don't know, like Glock is like just super, super, super conservative with their triggers. So much so to the point that's why people don't like them. Mm-hmm. But it's that gun is built for somebody who's got this on there far too long, far too fast, right? So I like the Overwatch one. The one that's really been turning me on lately that I think is probably going to be my favorite trigger from now on is the Factor, because it's the same price, but you're getting the a kind of a redefined striker safety block and spring in there. So it's not any lighter. It's got all of the safety stuff that the Overwatch and stuff has, but it's far smoother at that wall because they've contoured that plunger, that striker safety a little bit, and that reduced power striker spring gives you the performance. Because a lot of people try to go to a striker spring, and that gives you a lot of performance weight wise, but you can get light primer strikes.
Yeah.
You know, so I stay away from those. I've done it before and it just never worked out good, especially on reloads. Reloads do not like light striker springs for Glock.
Yeah.
So check out Factor, check out Overwatch, and then Apex is a good one too, but Overwatch and Factor are a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. I like the Apex trigger for the Glock. It's not the lightest. It's not the best, but the part that I really like about it is their safety factor. You know, they drop it from closet height, not just shoulder height. So you're never going to have an issue with it if you drop it, you know, if you were to. And as far as like messing with, you know, changing out springs, you know, I like a drop-in simplistic trigger. And my Apex trigger is pretty damn light, but I really like, and I haven't, you know, done all kinds of crazy stuff to it. You know, I do the 25-cent polish trigger job that anybody can do. I do that on all my Glocks. And then I don't really change a lot like striker springs and stuff like that because I want the reliability, like you were saying with light primer strikes. I don't want to induce that. And with the Apex, I've ran them in like 4 Glocks and I've never had a problem with it, but they're not the lightest. I will admit that. They're not like, you know, super duper light, but they help with all that nasty take up, and you don't have that goofy, you know, safety thing in the middle where the Glock one pokes the hell out of you. You know, the Apex folds in flat, so that drives me
most
crazy.
Aftermarket triggers kind of solve that tactile feel of it. But and honestly, you know, even if you just put like a Glock factory minus connector and polish it and then run it, that trigger does get better with time. But if you want to spend the money, there's a bunch of good ones out there. So, yeah.
And Kathleen's asking about like Glock frames. I know you've got some time behind it, and I've shot a few different ones, but I haven't really owned any myself. But what's your opinion on Glock frames or different frames?
Like the aftermarket ones?
Yeah, like she's got a Timberwolf and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Nomad. You've got some experience with those.
Yeah, so I've got Nomads, P80s, that new GST9. I've shot the Shadow Systems and a couple other ones. They're good. I really like the ergonomics of the Nomad and the Shadow Systems one. And you know, here's the thing too: is Glock's patents are all up for Gen 3 and previous, so their polymer is good to go. A whole clone of that gun can be made now, and that's what Palmetto State's going to be releasing soon. If they haven't already, I haven't paid attention. So I like some of the aftermarket frames. I haven't used the Lone Wolf ones, but I've had a lot of problems over the years with Lone Wolf parts, so that's kind of steered me away from them. I mean, if I can get my hands on one, I'll run the heck out of it. But I really like the Nomad, the Shadow Systems. Because of the way they've kind of redesigned it. They've got a good polymer in there. I think their polymer is definitely far superior than Polymer 80. That I can just tell you hands down.
Yeah, I've shot the Timberwolf frame. It wasn't mine. It was a friend of mine's, and I shot it. And I liked it. Didn't never have any problems with it because it changes, you know, it brings it a little more towards a 1911 style, which I prefer. I'm going to shoot Uncle Dan's Nomad. I haven't yet, but I'm going to. And then I've shot, you know, I put my hands on the Zevs and some of those styles in the Shadow Systems. I haven't shot them I haven't shot Humbles yet. But, you know, I don't like the Glock ergonomics, but I will say this on my my Glock 19X, when I had the guy stipple it and mold it, I mean, he actually had me put my hand on it and he kind of did some markings. And then he actually rounded it off and, kind of made it to where it fits my hand. And I freaking
Yeah.
love it. I mean, it's super nice, but it's, not stock Glock. And it did cost money. But with the stippling and everything on it, you can't beat that. I mean, if you have a stock Glock and there's some things you don't like about it, it can be fixed.
Yeah, Glock is like Lincoln Logs for people. You can somebody out there does everything for it, and some people say leave it alone, but it really is a platform that you can pretty much personalize ergonomically, whatever, because you can get backstrap reductions, you can do all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah, they're fun to, it's the Legos for guns. So I mean, there's so much crap you can do to it. Here's a question from Ranger 10. Is asking, picked up a Ruger 1022 Charger yesterday. Any thoughts?
Awesome. I've got a couple 1022s, man. I love them. I've always had to replace the extractor in there with a Volquartsen one. But the 1022, as long as you get the right ammo in there, it's a blast to shoot. It's cheap to shoot. It's a lot of good fun. And I mean, there's just so much stuff out there for them, triggers and parts and bolts, and you can get deep into 1022s really fast.
Yeah, there's actually a new binary trigger too. I don't know if you know that, but there's a new binary trigger that you can put in the Charger and stuff now. And I know 22 Plinkster's been playing around with his, and I think he has 9 Chargers. And I was just like, damn, he's got different colored ones and the quartz one, all that stuff. And I mean, they're a lot of fun. I've played with them and stuff. I've never owned a 1022, but I've shot them plenty of times. And I think that there's a lot of bang for the buck there. The Chargers are really cool. And there's a lot of things you can do to them to kind of put them in different stocks and kind of play around with them there. So, I mean, I think it's a hell of a gun. But I've gotten that Savage B22 Performance, and that thing is freaking fun as hell. I mean, it's accurate. It's, it's cool because it's a bolt gun. I can put my can on it. It's super quiet. And it's just a hell of a lot of fun. And you've only got 10 round mags. So you take your time, you can go through. I mean, I can shoot 80 rounds and it seems like I've been there half a day. I haven't, but it just seems that way. But it's so much freaking fun and it's so enjoyable and relaxing to do that. So I really enjoy those. And I've got a 1522, which is a blast. Matter of fact, it's so much fun. I usually blow through 500 rounds pretty damn quick with that thing. So it is a lot of fun. Let's see here. There's another question here that I saw that, okay. All right, Anthony's asking, Big Johnson Guns and Gear, do you still own a Chris Sphinx SDP Compact? Yes, I do. It has the modern system or modern weapon system performance kit in it. It honestly is like a tricked out baby Shadow 2. It's an awesome pistol. It's threaded barrel. It's got the goofy left-hand threads though. And it is the Swiss version. They make an American version too. And it is a hell of a lot of fun, and it's a fantastic shooter. And it does take CZ mags, so a lot of people don't know that. But
nice.
yeah, do what now?
Oh, I just said nice.
Oh yeah, it's
haven't had the chance to play with one of those yet.
Yeah, I mean it's and I've done comparisons between it and a PO7. They're basically the same gun, but you're getting, and they both work great. I love them both, but you're getting, it's kind of like the PO7, or excuse me, the Sphinx is kind of like a Rolex, and the PO7 is kind of like a Timex. They both work, but man, when you take them apart, you can tell the difference. But also the Sphinx is stainless steel, alloy, and polymer. So it's a 3-piece frame and slide setup, where the other one is just polymer with a stainless frame. But fantastic gun. Really, really enjoy mine now that the trigger's even better. But they're great guns. If you can get a good price on it, I say grab one. I know Ball just sold his. Yeah, this is interesting. Have you tried the Rex Delta yet?
No, man, I have not.
I've seen them like in person, and I know KS picked it up. And when he was picking it up, I was like, And when I put my hands on it, I was like, it's just not for me. I'm not saying it's a bad gun. I just really wasn't blown away with the trigger and things like that. I'm not saying it's a bad gun. It's probably a fantastic gun, but it just didn't do anything for me. In the striker fire market, there's so many different options, P10, Glocks, and all this other stuff. And they waited a little too long to come out with that one. And, I've seen the prices really plummet on that gun, but I'm not saying it's a bad gun. It's just, it's not for me.
There's a lot. I mean, speaking of the P10s, I just finished up testing that Overwatch trigger for the P10.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's nice.
Oh man, that anybody who's played with that HBI trigger, it ain't got nothing on that Overwatch trigger, man. Nothing. Cool. It's not even close. Not even the same sport.
Yeah, and the stock CZ trigger, for the P10C and the P10F, they really don't bother me. I know that you could probably make it a little, better and smoother, but I've shot mine, all three of mine so damn much that they're worn in really nicely. I don't have any of that crunchy feel or any of that when, like when you first get them and shoot them. I mean, they both have, all three of them have thousands and thousands of rounds through them. So, I mean, they shoot great, and I don't really notice anything. There's nothing that's like, oh my God, I got to change this, like there are on some guns that I shoot.
Yeah. If Safariland would make like a duty style holster for the CZs, I don't think they're making a specific one yet. And I've tried to jam them in my Glock ones, and they don't fit. But they don't make, I think, a specific duty holster ALS style with a light on it just yet. And they may be coming out with it, or they may have just come out with it. I really think that a lot of guys would be carrying that over Glocks, especially Glock MOSs.
Yeah.
Because it just shoots a lot better than a Glock right out of the box.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I mean, I've said that numerous times. There's a lot of guns that shoot better right out of the box than a Glock, but not knocking Glock. They have their place. This is a gun we've talked about before. It's the Nemo Monarch. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they were talking about having it, making it, coming out and all this other stuff, and we were all excited about it. And then it's fell off the face of the earth. I'm probably sure due to price, because it wasn't going to be cheap. I think it was going to be like $1,800 to $2,200, depending on the model that you got. But I thought it was really cool. I mean, I was looking forward to it, with the alloy frame and stuff. I think it would be something different in the marketplace that really is not there yet for a battle style pistol. But, and I haven't seen crap about it. So I don't know if it's been delayed even longer, or if they've just been like, you know what, with the cost and all this other stuff, they scrapped it. I don't know what's happened to that thing.
It's like the Lago Alien. I don't think those have shipped yet. And a lot of people paid $5,000 for that initial release, man.
Supposedly, a buddy of mine ordered one, and so supposedly, that he's already he knows what its serial number is going to be and all this other information. And they said that it was getting ready to be shipped out. So I don't know if it still is, but he went to the gun show with me on that Saturday, I guess a couple of weeks ago. And that's what he knew as of that time, but I haven't heard anything else on it. This is a question I've been asked a ton, and I know 17 said some stuff about it, and maybe you've been asked about it, but thoughts on the Yankee Marshal comments about Mr. Guns and Gear?
Dude.
I've seen the question flying through here, and I've been asked about it, DMs on Instagram, they've asked me and stuff, but what's your opinion on it?
Hey, here's my thing, man. I don't know either of those guys, but when you call into question someone's service, especially one that's pretty well documented, I mean, that's like, I don't talk about what I did in the military either. I'm very much like Guns and Gear. I don't bring that up a lot. One, because I've been out for so long now. The longer you've not been operational, the less relevant you are. That's kind of how I look at it. And when you call that into question, dude, that's low. I hate drama, and I don't know why. As a 2A community, it's like people are like, you're not 2A enough, or you're this, or you're that. It's like, I get people occasionally that kind of like, oh, you're going to put your boot on people eventually and take their guns because you're a cop. And I'm like, no, that order ever comes down, I just go find a new job. Yeah. I'm like, I'm a guy in Arizona. It's like, it's different here. And I try to tell people this. I'm like, that's like an East Coast mentality or a California thing. Cause like out here, we're loving seeing everybody got guns. I mean, that's like, it's like, yes, go buy more guns. When I walk into a gun store and the shelves are empty, I'm like, America, So it's, you know, it's really weird, but I don't know what's up with that dude. It's like some people, and I've seen this with a couple of other channels, and I'm not going to talk, I don't want to bring out names or anything, but they always try to do that punch up thing to get some fame or some notoriety, like the dude that tried to take Paul Harrell to task.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Caleb Giddings was his name.
I watched the Paul Harrell response video. I was like, wow, that was an hour of murder.
Yeah. Well, you know, my opinion of it is, you know, okay, you do YouTube videos and all this stuff, and you used to be a cop, and supposedly you were, I don't know what he was, in the military or whatever he was. But you know, you never question someone for one, it's not your place. You know, he has no bearing, and here's why he's doing it. He's desperate to get him on the show for fame or whatever. You know, and that's really sad. He's a drama queen, you know, Yankee Marshall is and always has been. He does these little, you know, like name calling videos and stuff to get that, you know, shock value. And that's just douchey. I mean, if you can't just be your own person on your own merit and, you know, do what you want to do, you know, you don't even need to be in that. But calling out other people, that's childish. It's stupid. And these are my opinions. Maybe you're you know, people are out there a Yankee Marshall fan, but his videos really bring no no quality to me. So
I didn't really know who the dude was.
Yeah, I mean, you know, way back, I think maybe, gosh, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, I watched, or however long ago, you know, forever ago, I watched some of his videos just to watch them, you know, and I thought, man, this guy's kind of, you know, lost it a little bit, but you know, I don't think
he out on the, like, wasn't he out on the street doing some live stream, like saying he was down with Antifa or something? Or?
Yeah, well, yeah, and then he went to CHOP and was trying to say nothing was wrong there, and then I guess they started kind of attacking him or something, and then he was like, oh, you know, but that's what I'm saying. He's a squirrel, and if that's the way he wants to get his nut, you know, more power to him, but I'm not into that. So that's
I just don't like drama, man. I mean, because here's the thing: you look at the internet; it's unlimited knowledge, knowledge, right? And the great thing about the internet and YouTube and all these social media platforms, everyone's got a voice. The worst thing about these platforms, everybody's got a voice.
Yeah,
it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know,
but I think you should use your voice for, you know, positivity and, you know, trying to, you know, bring others up. I mean, I'm a very positive person. You know, negativity is poison, so I don't really want anything to do with it. And if people are going to be that way, I'm not going to watch them. Or, you know, and he's not the only one. Like you said, there are tons of people that are just negative Nancy's. You know, we get them with the comments, you know, and I always post them up on Instagram because I think they're funny as hell. But, you know,
jealousy is a stinky cologne.
It is. It definitely is. You know, I've had people go, man, those 3 guns on that table are as much as my car was. And I'm like, well, you need to buy a better car. So, you know, I mean,
well, you know, and there's people that it's whether it's a car or a boat or a house or a gun or whatever. It's like people are like, why would you do this way? And my response is, so it's my money. It's not yours.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I would
if you want to do this, go ahead.
Yeah. I always just say America, because, you know, in America, you can do what the hell you want, buy what you want. It's your money. And, you know, enough said. I don't answer to anybody. So I don't bow to anybody other than my God, and I don't answer to anybody. So I do what the hell I want to do. And if you don't like it, don't watch. So, and that's the thing, you know, with him and other people, if they get you stirred up and all that other stuff, just don't watch them, you know, just shut them off and that'll be it. So,
yeah, I don't think I mean, I had like heard of it, but I don't think I'd ever like seen his videos prior. It just wasn't something that was in mine, I guess, on my feed or whatever.
Yeah. And this is exactly what Fina's saying. You know, we're talking about him. Other people are talking about him. And that's exactly what it do. You know, we're feeding the lion. So
that is 100% true. Bad publicity is still free publicity, because now people are going to be like, who is this Yankee Marshall girl? And they're going to go there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, so, but anyway, enough with that. But have you, and well, speaking of, you know, new things, I don't know if you've heard about it, but the Parler app, it's Parler. And what it is, it's a new form of Twitter, but they do not silence you. You can say what you want, you can post what you want, and they don't care. And they are very gun friendly. And you can actually truly say your peace of mind on there. And I've basically quit doing Twitter completely. Not that I did it a lot, but Parlor app's pretty cool. So I don't know if you have gotten on it, but I've been on it for a little while, and it's actually some pretty good stuff. And a lot of people, have jumped over there. And I mean, so far, so good. I've said some stuff and posted some stuff on there that, is a little, it's me venting a little bit. And
A little edgy.
yeah. And they've been fine with it. So no problem.
Yeah, I know what it is, and I say it's like almost the same thing as like Minds.
Yeah, I was on Minds, and Minds is a joke.
Yeah, that's I looked at that and I was like, this is just really weird. And it's like it's like you have so many different social media profiles. You have to at some point limit yourself on what you're gonna do. Yeah, Twitter is like toxic trash for the most part.
It's not as bad as TikTok. I dumped that thing. I did a little social experiment for about 4 months, and I got 9,600 subscribers in 4 months and posted videos, but they were always taking my videos.
Bots.
Yeah,
they're like bots.
That's exactly what I said in the video. I said,
TikTok's about to be gone anyways.
That's exactly. I dumped it, and then all of a sudden, like 2 days later, they start, talking about it even more and saying that, it's bad and all that other stuff. And it is, man, it's total trash. So if anybody's on it, I recommend, especially if you have kids and kids are on it, get them the hell off of it.
Yeah.
All right, here's what DC's asking a question: P07 or P01? Do you have either one of those?
I've shot the P07. But I couldn't give you an honest opinion on between the two, man. I haven't had enough rounds.
Yeah. I have 2 P07s, 1 P01, and 2 P09s. And in my opinion, and I've shot them all many times, I honestly, the P01 is a great gun. It's just, if you have large hands, it's really not large hand friendly because of the curvature at the bottom. It curves in, and then my pinky hangs on the mag. But I have XXL hands. I don't know what size hands you have, but I prefer the P07. I shoot it much better. But the P01, I know people that can shoot P01s like it's their hands. So it's not a big deal, but it's just not. I prefer the P07 personally. So, for what it is.
When it comes to, unless you're kind of like me or you, or we do YouTube stuff, or you just have like a collection and you have kind of like your main squeeze gun. A lot of it, and I always tell people this, I'm like, if you can't, go get trigger time with whatever you're thinking about buying, because you may find out that the H&K is for you. You may find out that, hey, the Glock just fits or the SIG just fits. And a lot of people go and they just buy whatever their friend tells them, and they end up selling something or being stuck with it or whatever. Because everybody's hands are different, everybody's wrists are different, everybody's ergonomics are different. You got to find what you can work best, because that's your tool,
Yeah, and I've seen people with medium to large hands just really work the hell out of a P01 and shoot it really, really good. Matter of fact, I've handed my P01 to a guy with smaller hands, and he shot it really well, and then handed it right back to me, and I shot it okay. It's just not as tight for me, and I can grab a P07 and shoot really good groups with it. So I guess it's just kind of, what works for you. But for the majority of the smaller-handed people or normal-handed people, it's a great gun. It shoots, and cool thing is it takes all of your basic 75 mags. So
have you shot the G3?
Taurus? No.
Yeah. No. I am dying to shoot that thing, man. I'm gonna go buy a G2C and a G3 just to. I've had a couple people tell me, they're like, hey, that's actually a pretty good gun for what you're paying for it, which is, Taurus has had some problems, but a lot of manufacturers have had some problems. Don't ever think that Glock hasn't done recalls on their guns, FN's done recalls on their guns, SIG has done big recalls on their guns. So it happens, but I'm really interested to see that, because it from what people are telling me, it looks pretty good. They just came out with a G3C.
Yeah. That's what I heard, but
yeah.
I think that they're, I don't put it this way. When they first came out, with the Millennial, the G or whatever, Taurus Millennial, they had some issues and stuff, but I think when they got into the G2s, they kind of fixed those up, and I really didn't hear any problems. And now they got the G3, and so far everybody's liking them. So I'm not saying they're a bad gun, and for the price, if that's what you can afford, get it to defend
Yeah.
defend yourself and your family, and by all means, or buy 2 of them so you have, one at home and one in your vehicle or whatever.
Absolutely, because now everybody's got the same budget. Trust me.
Yeah. I mean,
high points and Kel-Tecs kill a lot of people.
Yeah. And, that's kind of, I don't know if I would, well, put it this way. I would rather have a Taurus before I had a high point or a Kel-Tec.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, if it comes down to that, yes, I'm buying Tauruses. So
unless it's the money print one, and then you're just gangster.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just turn it sideways. I've got at one of my gun shops I used to go to, they have it's a high point with these taped on bone grips, and it has sights on the side. And I've got a picture.
No.
I've posted it a few times, but it's got sights on the side. They're those snake eyes with the big ring on the back. And it's.
So, do you know where that came from?
Oh, do I know where? Well, I know.
Yeah.
Well, the basis of it, but is there official something official?
The side Glock hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sideways, shooting sideways. Yeah, because they're shooting like that and holding up their pants with their other hand. But
no. So that's what a lot of people think. But no, there's like a legit kind of like, and it's kind of, it may be a little bit urban legendish, but when you're holding up the shield, right, and you're breaching a door, and you're the number 1 guy, you've got your gun in front of you. You cannot see it up and down around the shield like this. So through the shield, you're holding it like this. You're getting warrants served on you. That's how you see the cops holding guns.
There you go. That's funny. Hey, thank you, Ranger 10. He put $5 in the pot. We will buy beer with it and have drinks on you. We appreciate it. So let's see.
That's Ranger 10. I got my 75th shirt on today. I'm sure Ranger 10 saw that.
There you go. Let's see here. All right. Big Johnson Guns and Gear. What's your code for lock grips? About to place an order. It is BJGG10. All capitalized. BJGG10. So anybody that wants lock grips, you can grab them and get 10% off. BJGG10. All right. Let's see here. And I guess that's what the text was about too. Somebody was texting me wanting to know the code. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Well, and I was going to say that Sky offered to replace any stolen gun they had. Yeah, they had to stop it because they were all getting stolen. So, but here's a question that you can relate to. Have you ever tried a Swamp Fox optic?
Yeah, the Kingslayer, the 1 to 10 Arrowhead, and the little micro Sentinel, the new one, is should be coming in the next week or 2 to try on the Hellcat OSP that they just sent me.
I have, I guess it's their, I don't know which model it was. It was on a pistol. I guess it was it the Kingslayer? But had the little green, thing. I mean, I looked through it a few times, and I mean, I just don't know that much about it. I haven't really spent a lot of time, like, before I'm going to carry anything. And I know that you can get a bad anything out of a box, but I got to put a bunch of rounds through it and really test it before I'll depend on it. And, I've got a crap load through the Trigicons, RMRs, SROs, and the Holosuns. And I haven't had one lick of problem with any of those. I have had problems with the Delta Point Pro. But, those are kind of my go-tos. And it's, once you find stuff you like, I'm not opposed to trying something, but I don't want to try it. And, I have heard on the Swamp Fox, they have battery issues, or on some of their earlier ones, they wouldn't hold.
The Kingslayer's got a real short battery life on it.
Yeah, it was like sucking batteries. Multiple batteries were, being chewed up. So here's one. Is the AccuShadow 2 worth the additional money over a Shadow 2? I don't know if you have any experience with them.
I don't.
The AccuShadow 2 has like, it's got the barrel bushing. It's got, trigger job, stuff like that. I mean, it's a great pistol. Depends on what you want to do with it. If, you want to spend the money and that you're going to fix it all up anyway, sometimes it's better to get the Shadow 2 and then fix it up like you want to with the trigger and, the barrel bushing and all of that stuff. And if it's done right with the right people, you can still come under the price of a Shadow 2 sometimes. However, if you're going to go dots on either one of those, you're still going to have them milled. and then you will have to have the slide recoated. So kind of depends on how you want to spend your money. But they're both great guns. Depends on how much you want to spend and how you want it tricked out. If you want to just take it out of the box and shoot it, and grab the Active Shadow 2. If you want to kind of make it your own, I would say get the Shadow 2. But they're both fantastic guns. Let's see, where did that question go? There was another question. Wow. Okay, well, this is what we can both answer. What is your magic number of rounds to shoot down range till you trust the gun?
That's a tough one, because that can come down to metal types and how it's treated and all that. But I mean, here's in just my experience with anything that's mechanical, it's either going to break almost right away, or it's going to break after a lot of use. Once I have around 500 rounds through a gun, and I've cleaned it a lot, and I've inspected it each time after cleaning, I'm pretty much good to go. I mean, and I don't even think it would take that many rounds on most guns, but that's just kind of arbitrarily when, if you start to see the issues that I've ever had with guns, I started to see it in that 300 to 500 round mark, where you'll start seeing something just wearing really weird, or a mag release popped off one time, and I was like, what the? But those were more custom style things. You know, off the shelf guns that are going through that assembly line are generally not as finicky as like custom stuff. So in that 300 to 500 round range, if you're truly inspecting it and making sure that everything looks good, then I mean, I'm happy with that. I know some people, you know, out there say, well, I'll just trust this gun right out of the box. Okay, you want to roll into combat with an unproven rifle? That's up to you. Yeah. But I like to get a few rounds through it. I mean, but you're generally it's right away, or within that first box of ammo, that something weird happens if it's going to go bad. And didn't you just have a issue with your POF though? It was kind of like that.
Yeah, and it was after 70 rounds. Actually, I went back and slowed down the video footage, and it was happening during that 70 rounds, but it let loose. I mean, completely let loose right after. So, and then I've since, after it's been fixed and everything's been added, I've already done another 70 rounds perfect and re-inspected all of that, and it's been perfect. And I'm about to put probably another 50 to 75 rounds through it, because I got to, you know, play with the new scope and all that stuff. So, so far, so good. So, but what I do on pistols, rifles are a little different for me, but on pistols, I used to, like, you know, hey, I've got to put 1,000 rounds through them. And on, like, in how he was saying, custom, if you've got like a Les Bear, you know, some of those, they require 1,000 round break in, like on 1911s. So you've really got to follow what they're telling you to do. Like, you could have stovepipes, you could have some stuff like that, but usually it's 1,000 rounds on the high end, stuff like that. But as far as striker fire guns and double action, single action, he's exactly right. You know, if it's going to fail, it's going to fail pretty quickly. But then I'm looking between, if it's a reputable company, okay, and I don't just go on reputable companies, but if it's a reputable company and 300 to 500 rounds, everything is flawless, 100%, then I feel pretty comfortable carrying it. If I've added like extra triggers and done, you know, kind of crazy stuff, when I take it apart, I'm really inspecting all of that, you know, to make sure feed lips are good, you know, all of that. On rifles, you know, I might, you know, on some of them, depending on how I'm going to carry them for truck guns and stuff like that, I might put, you know, 500 to 700 rounds through them, because I just want to make sure that everything is good to go. And, you know, the bolt, I mean, I'm pulling it apart, checking the bolt. I mean, I'm looking for any kind of stress cracks. You know, I'm just wanting, especially like, you know, keys on, you know, for your, like what I had fail on your bolt key, you know, or your carrier key. I just want to make sure everything is good to go, because again, you know, you're trusting your life and your family and stuff on that particular gun, or when you're out traveling, you just want to make sure everything's good to go.
Yeah, and the one time I had an issue with an AR platform was, it was that issue. The carrier key had come loose, and I just noticed it. It was probably in the first 100 rounds. It seemed to just not be cycling. Something felt weird. You know, you get the lock back of the bolt, or you get something weird, or maybe it's short stroked.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that was weird. So I broke it down, and I could wiggle the gas key like this, and I'm like, well, there's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, it was just enough to make that bolt throw a little different. It was kind of like something didn't feel right in those last few rounds.
Yeah, and what I was noticing on the POF is when I was shooting it, rather than fire coming out of the front, I was seeing, it was weird, but I was seeing like this, and it was the only way I was describing it is like an aura, like an orb was like in my eyes. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's too far back. I don't think that's coming from the chamber. And what it was where the gas key, when it would come through, it was actually blowing it up out of the chamber. And it was just very weird because I was like, I've shot tons of 308s, tons of ARs, and I've never seen that out of any gun. So that's why it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then I was like, something's just not right. And that's why I really started doing investigating. And of course, when it went into single shot mode, I knew something had completely let loose.
Got a gas problem.
Oh yeah, big gas problem. It was blowing it out everywhere. But you know, in their defense, prior to that, and that's one thing I always do, I checked the staking. I took pictures of it. I had all of that. I put it up on Instagram saying, hey, here's the bolt, the way it's staked, and it was staked really nicely. But what happened is where the bolt goes down in it, you know, it was still staked, but the bolt like pulled the threads out. I mean, wow. You know, so, but we all know, and I mean, I've been in machining for a long time, but when you tap it or whatever, you know, once you put it in and you stake it, you're not going to unloosen it to check it. We all know that. Yeah. So it could have just been, you know, bad right off the bat. But I mean, their customer service was all over it, you know, complete gas key, you know, the whole works. And I checked the staking again. I mean, I took pictures, I did everything, and, you know, so far so good. But, you know, stuff can happen.
Yeah. And I tell people like this, how many recall notices have you had in your cars over the years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
how many recall? I've only had, I think, one actual recall notice on a gun.
Yeah. Yes, I've had 3 recall notices on guns, but on my cars and trucks, I've had, you know, hell, I've had 3 and 4 in 1 month. You know, where they're doing updates, especially on a brand new model. So that's the thing. If you're buying a brand new model pistol or gun or, you know, rifle or whatever, there can be some growing pains. And a lot of people don't know about the POF, but it's actually a 308 built on an AR-15 platform. So it's very lightweight. You know, it only weighs 5.7 pounds and it's a freaking 308. So a lot of people don't know that about it. So it is completely engineered from ground up. And that was what really intrigued me about it. And can some things go wrong? Yes. Did they make it right? Yes. It's got a lifetime warranty. So, and they're not going anywhere. Unfortunately, Frank passed, and that was really sad.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, it was like, hell, he called me, and 2 days later, he passed away in a car accident. So, you know, that's another thing, man. You just don't know when your time can come up. So,
ain't no practice life.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Here it is. I've had an Accu Shadow 2 built by CZ Customs, and if I had to do it again, I would just buy a Shadow 2 Orange. I think that gun has a very nice bushing system. Yeah, I mean, orange, anything they make in the orange line is good stuff. So now I had some questions for you. Okay, and I'm gonna put you on the spot because I always get freaking put on the spot. Your favorite pistol to shoot and your favorite rifle to shoot.
That I currently own, or
you can ever? Only pick one. You can only pick one of each. Yes, that you currently own.
That I currently. Well, I don't have my favorite ones anymore. So,
yeah.
My favorite pistol to shoot is going to be my Kimber Tactical Entry 2. It's just it's so broken that I need to rebuild it. I've had a couple of issues with it. It's short stroking a little bit right now, so I'm getting some stovepipes, but it's still just a great gun. And I know Kimber had some issues back in the day, so you know it is what it is. But this is not one of those that has issues. It's got thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds.
You need to change the spring.
Yeah, no, the springs are actually supposed to be changing those things like every 5,000 rounds or something.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Packet of them.
Right. So as far as my favorite rifle that I currently own still is going to be my Mark 18, my Daniel Defense.
Okay.
You know, I don't have any sexy bolt guns or anything anymore. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, hey, if it works, you know, use what works. My favorite gun to shoot, if I can only pick one, is going to be my Shadow 2, the tricked out orange one where it's got the trigger and all that stuff. That's probably my favorite one. I've got other pistols that I really enjoy too, but if I have to pick one, that's it. And then as far as my rifle, and it's a beast, it's my Lancer L30 heavy metal, and it's an AR-10, and it is a beast. And I just got a new razor scope for it also. So that is a really fun rifle to shoot. Now, of course, AR-15s and AR pistols, I've got those. But if you just really want to really fling some flames and make the ground shake, it's that bad boy.
Yeah, you know what? I got to get one. My buddy, we were just this last weekend, he brought all his cool stuff. He used to work at NSW, so he was bringing all this crazy stuff out. He brought out his new Striborg A3 and his new Bren 2 suppressed. And
Bren 2 is awesome.
Oh man, he had, and I'm just like, dude, I'm like, can I borrow these? He's like, oh yeah, anything you want, So he had some cool stuff. We're gonna work it into videos, but some of it's like, some of it we have to like license or whatever to get it. So it's weird. So we're trying to figure that out. But
yeah, that little POF 308 is a fun ass little pistol. But I like it. Something that has been reliable and everything. It's always fun to bring that thing out and let it rip. That's always a good time when you can do that. Man, everybody and their brother is freaking texting me, asking me questions.
Have you in any of your AR platforms, have you tried that Hyperfire EDT trigger?
Yes, I have it. I've got the flatter one. I've got that one in my little Texas build. It's a great trigger for like a duty type trigger. I've got the 4.5 pound spring in it. Yeah, it's a great trigger. I don't they've got the curved version and then kind of that little thing flat one, and I prefer the flat one, so that's the one I have in it.
See, I don't know why, but for some odd reason on ARs I like curved trigger. On pistols I like a flat trigger, but on ARs I like curved trigger. But that, in fact, I'm wrapping up the video on the Rise 434 on a couple of other triggers too. But that EDT for $99, dude, it's just, I mean, I'm putting it in all my ARs, man. $99, and it's literally, I think I was out there on the range practicing, and I want to say it was like, it's in the video, it's somewhere on Instagram or something. Shot timer up, 5 shots to the head, right in the precious zone. 1, 2, 3 from 15 or 10 yards.
That's awesome.
And that trigger's it was so fast and so short, and it didn't have that, like, when we get into like the ultra light triggers on an AR, for some odd reason, it's like my finger doesn't know what to do. It's like it's too light, so I'm like wrenching on it still and trying to get. Yeah, it's just weird. I guess that's just me, but.
And see, that's one reason I don't care for the curved type triggers, because I do have long fingers. So when I put my hand in there and it's already pre-curved, it automatically, it shortens my pull, or so to say. So I like a little flatter trigger, so I don't have that pre-curvature, so I can grab, and then it gives me a little more pull, if that makes sense, for a long finger. So that's what I prefer. Now, I will tell you this. If you want a fun trigger, and I've got 3 or 4 of these, the Hyperfire Eclipse, now I know they've got newer versions.
That was the one I first shot.
That thing is
with the adjustable shoe on it.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, a buddy of mine had that, and he's like, "Hey, slap this thing." And I'm just like, I'm like, "Oh!" Yeah. But it's like almost $300.
Yeah, I've got.
I was like, no, I ain't doing that. Yeah. I'll buy the $99 one. It was for $99, dude. I didn't have high hopes, and it surpassed my expectations.
Yeah, I've got that in my PCC, and I love it. And the Lancer L30 heavy metal, I've got the Hyperfire Eclipse in it, and it's freaking awesome. And it does not bump fire. On a 308 where you've got the little bit of recoil. On some lighter triggers, like they're not, these are light, the Hyperfires are, but they're very crisp, and it's got a really hard wall. You can get bump fires from, the big 308s, and this one does not bump fire. I mean, Hyperfire makes really good stuff, and they've got a whole new line out, and I think it's kind of the same stuff. It's just, with a different package, and they've done different coatings, but yeah, they make some really, really good stuff, and they're all made in the United States, and they're veteran owned. And so, that's why I try to support them too. And of course, CMG makes great triggers too, and theirs are very reasonable. I've got several of those, and I got them for like $99 or something on a sale. And I know they're up now, but they're great. They're great triggers too.
I was supposed to have some of their stuff coming in, and then just the lady that handles their social media stuff just fell off the face of the earth. Never emailed me back. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, they don't have to give those away. And I've got one of the Rise armaments too, triggers. I can't remember the number on it, but Uncle Dan hooked me up with that. And I put it in the POF first before I had those issues. And I was thinking that might've caused it, and then took it out, but that's a nice trigger too. That thing has a really nice reset, and the damn trigger blade is like that long, and I actually like it. It's really long.
Was it the 140?
I don't.
The cheaper one. It was like their base model.
RS something. It's a drop in, but I can't remember the number. But it wasn't super expensive, I don't think. But
yeah, I think they're like $110 or something like that for the RS 140 or the R 140.
That might be what it is. Yeah, but it's a nice trigger. I liked it. So, anything else you have? We're actually almost over. But what do you have coming up on your channel? Anything,
Oh yeah. So I've got oh God, what is it? I got one of those Zev OZ9s coming in. Springfield XDM Elite Tactical OSP, the Hellcat OSP, and that FDE, the St. Victor rifle, the B5 rifle, Striborg A3, the Bren 2. There's just that I'm so bogged down with stuff and different gear and everything. Got that Riton optic in. They're 1-8, I think it is, or 1-6 maybe. That one I'm testing. That Swamp Fox Sentinel's coming in. I've got the Rise 434 trigger. I've got a couple other triggers coming in. So I still got to finish that red kind of furniture rifle for my 78 truck. That's almost done. And then I have the other one that I'm going to be building for work, which is probably going to end up being, I've been testing all these different barrel lengths and rails from Arrow, because I'm, if people sometimes say the Arrow is not high quality or something, dude, we have been beating Arrow guns so bad, both at work and everywhere else, man. Their stuff is awesome. So I'll finish up the new work gun I'm using for them, and then there's just a lot of other like gear related stuff, plate carriers. There's some armor coming in. I should have some training classes that I'll be attending that I'm going to shoot videos of and put out there to kind of help guide people. I'm trying to get to different parts of the U.S. to take classes so they can, hey, I live in the East Coast, or hey, I live in the West Coast, or hey, I'm in the Midwest, or whatever. The problem is sometimes based on the state, I have to call these people like, hey, can you rent me a gun or lend me one, because I can't fly into your state with what I own.
It's crazy. Yeah, well, and a lot of them some of them you can ship to like the range or wherever, you can ship it there, and they have to sign for it, and you can shoot it, and then they ship it back to you. But man, that's a pain in the ass too. Yeah. So yeah, I've got the Razor 1-6 HD 2E or Gen 2E. I just got that, so put it on the POF, so I'll be checking it. And I'll tell you what, the glass clarity on that thing is freaking unbelievable. And you can use it like a damn red dot. It's pretty badass on the 1-power. And then I've got a Razor HD AMG, and it's a 6x24x50. So I put it on the Lancer. So I'm gonna be trying to stretch that thing out. And excited about that. I've got some mags that I've been testing. And these are prototype mags, so you've never seen these before, but they are pretty freaking cool.
What are they for?
I've never seen,
What are they for?
AR-15.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's the first ever made, and they're pretty badass. I've already shot them once, and they work really well. And I'll just say they're easy to load. I guess I could say that. But I can't show them yet or anything. And got some more of these. I've never shot these, but I've been playing around with them. These Amin 2 Glock 34, or they're Glock, they're 34 round mags. So I got these in. I'm gonna be testing those. I've loaded them up to see if the feed lips are gonna break, because the mags feel weird. They don't have the regular Glock insulation kind of thing over them, so they just feel weird. But I'm not saying they're not gonna work. They just feel different. So I've got those I've been testing, and some other stuff. So, but I've got some stuff being built right now, so I'm excited about it. But man, with this COVID stuff, it has thrown a wrench in trying to get parts for everybody.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and everything is sold out, which is everybody's mad because everything's sold out. I'm like, well,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a
What do you
bad thing
think?
when you want to build stuff. You got to see what's around and all that stuff. But yeah, it's definitely thrown a wrench in my plans. But yeah, it's always good having you. If y'all haven't checked out Tactical Considerations, please do. Good guy, friend of the show, and he's welcome on anytime. Next week, 17 and KS should be back. But if y'all need anything or have any questions after the chat, please leave it. We can chime in on it and try to answer some of your questions. I know we didn't get to a lot of questions tonight, and I apologize for that. Just wanted to try to drag some information out of Tactical and see what he could give us. And hope y'all were entertained. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in so much. And if y'all need anything, please let us know. But remember, an unarmed nation is a weak nation, so we all got to carry on. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, see you, man.
Thanks, everyone.